Whether you're in saltwater or you're in freshwater, there's a few things in your boat that make it better for shallow water fishing. The biggest key, in my opinion, is stealth. One of the things that can make your boat really stealthy that comes to mind is a trolling motor. I'm using this power pole move. It's a trolling motor that makes almost no noise when it's moving through the water. When you're in shallow water, these fish are really sensitive to their environment and vibrations and sound. And the difference between a noisy trolling motor and a quiet one will make a huge difference in how you can approach fish and how relaxed they are when your lure gets to them. The other thing I really like about the move, besides it being really stealthy and quiet, is that there's two remotes. So if I'm fishing and I have a fish hooked up, whoever I'm fishing with can then immediately take over. They can control the power poles, they can control the trolling motor, and we both have control of the boat. So we're able to do anything that needs to be done to help each other out without having to pass a remote around while we have a fish hooked up. The other thing that I think is really important, at least to me and the fishing that I do for being stealthy, is dual power poles. What I like about dual power poles is when you put them down, it doesn't matter what the wind or the current or the tide is doing. I can stop and I can point my boat in the direction that I want to fish to make it more optimal for casting, to make a better presentation. I don't have to worry about putting one pole down and having the boat swing and then I'm casting at a weird angle. So I can set myself up optimally with dual power poles. Also, when you have wind at your back or you're coming up on some fish, you can stop immediately. And the good thing about that is that you're not blowing through fish. So if I just keep my trolling motor on and I'm working through an area as I'm covering fish, I'm gonna catch way less fish than when I approach the area, I stop, I fan cast, catch a few fish, move about half of my casting distance down and reset up with the power poles. So that's converted my catch rate and made it drastically better. So the last thing that I really like about dual power poles is it stabilizes the boat a lot. So when I stop and I set up, these fish are really sensitive to your boat rocking. So right now we're set up with double power poles and I can shift my weight without my boat going crazy. But when you're in shallow water and you have spooky fish around you, any sort of rocking of the boat, any sort of loud banging noise on your boat is gonna raise their level of alertness. The other thing about my boat that I really like that makes it really stealthy in shallow water is this ocean grip non-skid decking. So what's nice about it, it's just kind of a cushion that dampens sounds and makes moving around a lot more stealthy. So if I were to tap or drop something on this decking, it's much quieter compared to if I do the same on the gel coat. So this is going to really help absorb a lot of the noise and vibration that occurs and transmits less of it into the water. So fish are less aware of my movements. And there's another controversial piece of equipment in the shallow water boat world, the jack plate. A lot of boat manufacturers will say, the boat doesn't need a jack plate, it runs optimally there. Some of the advantages of having a jack plate and being able to lift your motor up a few inches is that when you're working really shallow flats, and if those flats are extensive, then you can really cut down your idle time. Like I can get up on plane in places that I couldn't get up on plane if I didn't have a jack plate. Also, I can run through some areas that I would be a little bit less comfortable running through without a jack plate, so it really helps your overall performance. And the other advantage to using a jack plate shallow is it gives you a lot more flexibility with your props. I can run a heavily cupped foreblade that lets me run the prop with a lot of elevation out of the water. The cupping of the prop grabs water and gives me tons of traction. An amazing hole shot. The other thing that I really like is lithium batteries. I think they're totally worth it. One, they have a really long lifespan. Two, because I fish a lot, I fish, one day and I'll almost run my trolling motor out of battery and then wake up the next morning on minimal sleep and go and fish again. And these batteries charge extremely fast. The other thing I like about it is their lifespan. They last a long time. I've only had mine for a couple years, but everything I've heard about them is they last almost a decade without any problems. Before this, especially with my trolling motor batteries, I was switching them out all the time. Now I have a 24 volt, 60 amp hour battery in front, and I have two 60 amp hour, 12 volt batteries in the back. So in total, I saved about 140 pounds from using lithium over lead acid or AGM.